Support for Wrestlezona comes from the Wrestling Guy Store Phoenix, offering wrestling-themed merchandise and collectibles. More information at WGSPHX.com. That is WGSPHX.com. Hope you're having an amazing one, Wrestlezona family, and welcome back whenever you happen to be tuning in. My name is Lance Reese, your definitive host for the hour. I've been a fan of professional wrestling since I was about 6 years old, begging my parents to buy me action figures ever since I saw videos of Jeff Hardy swanton bombing on YouTube. We got another fun episode for you today as we here on episode 26 of Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse. We'll cover what's happening in the world of WWE, All Elite Wrestling, the Indies, and even wrestling here local in the Valley. Stick around to hear our exclusive interview with Two Scoops Tommy Test as he makes his way back to the Valley this coming Saturday at ThePulseAZ. Coming up this Saturday, November 15th, is the ThePulseAZ Phoenix Championship Wrestling's live from Broadway. They're coming back to the Eagle Center, and today's subject is Tommy Test, who will be at that show with MBW as the Mega Test Warriors, and they'll be taking on Young Money, as well as a six-man tag team match that puts Jimmy House and John Wolfgang with Stanley Logan against Damon Ace, Freddie Cordova, and Baker Jeffcoat. Also on the card is a singles match of Lord Draco versus Jacob East, former guest of the show, as well as Joey Hendricks versus Dak Draper making his PCWAZ debut, a triple threat match for the Slam U Championship as Enrique Caldron defends his title against Joe Graves and Remy Marcel. Also on the card for the PCW Tag Team Championship, Pretty City Express look to defend their titles against the Mariachi Montana, as well as Zamaya looks to take back her championship from Coach DK, who's been holding on to it with Taylor York by her side. And then in the main event, you have the heavyweight championship match of Kevin Koa defending his belt against a returning and now New Japan star, Clark Connors. Also, in local news, IZW makes the rounds as they make some early 2026 announcements for their annual Monster event in February 21st. They will have Su Yung in action as well as for a signing. Also, May 9th of next year, they will have Hornswoggle in for his IZW debut and signing. Last night, of course, was IZW's Long Live the King event that saw the Navajo Warrior in his retirement tour Last Mile take on Samoa Joe in an absolute barn burner. Of course, the action was called by Phoenix, Arizona original Justin Roberts, and we will have more information on how that event turned out in the coming week. You've seen them around recording all the shows here locally, but Kingslayer Wrestling looks to make the round in December in the 19th with their inaugural event of Kingslayer Wrestling, Black Ice. The card is looking to feature Gino Rivera, Bryce Saturn, some more IZW and Wrestle Drag originals, and it's going to be a blast. Very excited to see this new promotion come to light and what they have to offer to the local scene. Also in news, coming up on the 22nd of this month is the Arizona Wrestling Federation's Dire Consequence event. The event will feature the former Tegan Knox of WWE, as well as Vipers seen around AEW, TNA, GCW, WWE, TNA, and Ring of Honor original Paul London, as well as the four-time AWF Heavyweight Champion Chubby Depp, Fallen Gray, and more. In national wrestling news, the wrestling world is getting excited for the Last Time Is Now tournament. It is an upcoming 16-man tournament that will determine who will face John Cena in his retirement match at Saturday night's main event on December 13th. The tournament will begin tomorrow, November 10th, on the episode of Raw in Cena's hometown of Boston, Massachusetts. It's announced so far that the first rounds will feature a bout of Rusev versus Damian Priest, as well as Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sheamus. More to be announced. In other national news with All Elite Wrestling, the National Championship has been announced by General Manager and CEO Tony Khan. This championship is going to be awarded to the winner of a Casino Gauntlet match at AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view on Saturday, November 22nd at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. It was once a top prize in Georgia Championship Wrestling, one of the premier wrestling promotions in the entire country for its time. The title hasn't been seen on TBS television since 1986, when it was retired after being unified with the United States Championship. The new AEW national title again will forge its own legacy by paying tribute to the past. I'm Lance Reese with Wrestlezona, and that recaps the entire week of wrestling news. How is everybody's week going so far, and is there anything I missed out that you want me to cover? Get a hold of me on social media at Wrestlezona on Instagram. We are about to go into our interview with Two Scoops Tommy Test here on Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse. I'm Lance Reese with Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse, and we've made it to that part of our program. Ladies and gentlemen tuning in, please help me in introducing to Wrestlezona our very special guest, Two Scoops Tommy Test. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, Tommy. So, you can't see it, and the listeners can't see it either, but I have a huge grin on my face right now. I'm a very big fan of you and your aesthetic and everything you do. I've seen you around, of course, at all the Phoenix Championship Wrestling shows, and I just want to highlight a bit of your involvement in that scene. A highlight for me would have been at the Eagles not too long in July. You and MBW as Mega Test against Young Money in the Mariachi, Montana. Obviously PCW, we've discussed at the show, they put on incredible content throughout the East Valley. I gotta ask, do those shows feel like home to you?
That is literally the best word to explain it. And I've said it before, that is home. I lived in Arizona the past 5 years. I recently moved to New Mexico. So for about a year now I've been here. But I was trained to wrestle in Arizona. And yeah, that was my first ever match, was at Phoenix Championship Wrestling.
For Slam U?
I remember doing the pre-shows, right? It was kind of crazy. Back in 2019, I started training. In 2021, here I am wrestling on the PCW shows. So I've come a long way, and that is home. That's where I got my start.
That's a very interesting point. You said you started your training in 2019 and started your in-ring wrestling career in 2021. What was that gap year for 2020? I understand the pandemic was that year.
That is 100% it. The pandemic, the world shut down, the wrestling school shut down. There was no wrestling running. And I actually had moved away from Arizona it was supposed to be 2 weeks for the curve, and then it ended up being a couple months before I got back to Arizona to be able to train again.
Wow. You're originally from Ribera in New Mexico, correct?
That is correct, yes. Small town, little country boy.
Well, a small town, it's away from the cities, or the big cities at least?
So our nearest city is a population of about 13,000 people. So there's one Walmart, and that's all we really got.
Wow.
That's the nearest city. So about 90 minutes from Albuquerque, though.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I cannot relate at all, being someone living in Mesa my entire life, because even here, it's no Phoenix, but we still got more than one Walmart at least.
Right, got a couple of Mesa. And I lived in Mesa. I moved there in 2019 specifically to wrestle, specifically to train.
Yes.
And I fell in love with Mesa. My goal is to move back to Mesa soon.
You were currently based out of New Mexico, correct?
Correct, yes. I live in Albuquerque.
Oh, okay. Oh, a little more to do there. It's not home, but
it's close enough. But also, what's convenient is I'm right dead center. I could wrestle in Colorado, West Texas, Arizona, and Albuquerque. So I'm in a good central location to get to every area.
That's good. Do you usually travel by car?
So honestly, I majority of the time travel with the Arizona guys.
Oh, yes.
So what I'll do is we'll use my place in New Mexico as like a middle point, and they'll meet me up here, and then we'll travel together to these. We'll drive to Texas, drive to Colorado, and that's like a monthly deal.
So I'll get back to this, of course, with the Arizona guys, but in the terms of New Mexico, do you often train with other academies or not even promotions, just I guess academies there, like Gino Rivera's OTR?
So yeah, I'm actually aware with. I don't train with OTR, but my tag team partner Tony does.
Mm.
He does a couple of the shows. Antoine Giovanni.
Yes.
He's one of my good friends. So
Turbo Tony.
With OTR, yeah. I am one of the lead students at the Prime Pro Wrestling Academy.
Mm.
So that's actually a full complex with a full gym. We have some MMA classes. And
Oh, wow.
we've got a new location. We're at Legion Iron Gym. So it's right off the highway. But, yeah, I'm at the Prime Pro Wrestling.
That's fantastic. Of course, with PCW, you've had some notoriety here in Arizona. You and MBW as Megatest Warriors are the longest reigning PCW Arizona Tag Team Champions with a reign of 609 days.
Yes.
Do you hold a lot of pride in that number?
Absolutely, yes. That it was honestly some of the best days of my life, and it was unexpected. MBW and I, we never met. We're meant to be tag team partners. It kind of happened because he had a partner who had a concussion, and I had a partner that had a concussion. And the week of the show, they threw us together, and the dynamic was really strange. You know, he was a good guy, and I really wasn't a good guy at that time.
It'll turn
it
around.
Worked.
Yeah.
And it clicked. Something happened, and maybe it all happened for a reason, and that turned into a tag team, which then turned into an opportunity, and which then turned into a long championship run.
That's fantastic. I actually never knew that story. Both two concussions on both ends. That is, it's like unlucky chance, but it came out with a good scenario.
Yeah, we literally turned lemon into lemonade, or
as Manny Lemons would say.
Situation, and it worked really well.
Yeah. What's so backtrack a bit. What's your relation with the AZ Pro Wrestling Training Center and guys like Gabriel Gallo and Dom Vitale?
Oh yeah, those are the OGs. So my relation is that's where I uprooted my life to choose to wrestle, to train. So they're the guys who trained me. That's home base. I try my best to get out there as much as I can. Obviously, schedules are chaotic.
Yeah.
But in my honest opinion, I don't think there's any other place worth even training at. And I mean this in the best possible way, because I'm very fortunate to have an awesome school with some very good instructors here in Albuquerque with Danny G and Luis K. Guzman, and they have awesome minds, and they work really hard. And we have an awesome setup. But just the amount of resources you get at the Arizona Wrestling Training Center, and the quality of training, the depth of the training, the explanation, and I'll be honest, it is not easy. There is not such thing as an easy session over there. They will push you to the limit, beyond that limit that you even know you had, with structure, with reasoning. It's honestly, man, I can't think of not any other place on this planet that I'd rather learn how to wrestle than there.
And I've talked with a lot of the people from PCW. Of course, Dom Vitale was our first episode, but even some of the guys there that are on the roster and train in that center, they've told me similar stuff. It is not easy, especially those first few times around. Even if you think you know what you're doing, they'll put you to work. I mean, I think I heard that specifically from Jacob East and Zamaya. Those two were.
And I've seen them because I was the third ever class. So I was one of the original classes for the building we're at now there. So I was actually able to see Jacob East and Zamaya come up. And those are two people that are literally the definition of hard work.
Exactly.
When I say that, they came from the absolute bottom and grinded and transformed every single thing about them, from personality, from their wrestling style, from I'm talking their looks, their body. They made, I'm talking 180-degree rotations of their life. So those are two people that have, honestly, they are the Arizona Wrestling Training Center. They put in the work years at a time. And I'm honored to say that I've watched them come up under me.
I can relate in the sense of with Evit that hosts our station 88.7 The Pulse. That's the whole motto is at Evit we change lives, and at Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center, I'm sure they're changing lives every class and in between. Absolutely. And every show. That's fantastic.
Yes, and I know one of Dom's mottos is, he trains good people. and he'll make you a good person regardless. And honestly, the whole strategy of how we even get there is like you have to earn your spot. You have to do interviews, and if you're not someone that is willing to be coachable and someone that isn't a good fit to learn with the others, we won't accept you. You know, it's a privilege to be at that place. It really is. I had 3 or 4 schools that I kind of interviewed with when I chose to wrestle, and Dom Vitale has all the charisma in the world.
He's great.
And I specifically chose that school because I felt it was the right, my life was called there, but really what it was a structure, and I knew that he would never give up on me as long as I gave him everything I had. And that's all he asked. You know, he didn't ask for perfection. He asked for effort, and he'll get me there. And as a leader, can't ask for anything more.
Again, I'm seeing a lot of parallels that resonate with me, such as, you know, you got to earn your privilege to wrestle, and that's how it is with the radio station here within our curriculum. And we have amazing instructors that you know, put in the work to make sure those students can earn their privilege and that they can prove themselves to do such things.
Absolutely, and then it makes it worth it. You know,
Yeah,
you earn it.
So we had mentioned that, of course, you were born in Ribera, you moved to Arizona, now you're back in Albuquerque. For a wrestling fan like myself, who is relatively close by state but has never been to New Mexico, what is the atmosphere of a show somewhere like a Duke City Championship Wrestling show as compared to a Phoenix Championship Wrestling show?
I love that question. So I take honor in saying that I've been able to get a lot of the Arizona guys out there so they can experience it, because it is literally night and day difference of crowds. But one thing remains the same, is that they're both, the professionalism is through the roof. So I will say Arizona, the Phoenix Championship Wrestling shows, the Slam U shows, they are very well organized. I'm talking there is a procedure in place for everything during show, pre-show, post-show. Energy from the crowd, like you asked, it's very much a family-friendly show. We have organically built our audience, because when in 2019, Phoenix Championship Wrestling, we had 100 people in those stands.
I remember.
We got to 200, 300. Now we were doing 600, 700, 1,200, 2,000.
Yeah, those big anniversary events, they draw.
Yes, and we've organically grown our live on Broadways to sit up 500, 600, 700. And it's very much, when he said home earlier, that's what it is. It's family-oriented. Anyone could go. But the energy is you go there, and it feels like a reunion every time, because it's bi-monthly. And it's not oversaturated. It's more, I guess you could say, for me, it's I don't want to say easier, because I do work really hard there, but it comes more naturally to me. I get to be myself in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I do stuff that I think is funny. I do stuff that I think is cool. I do stuff that whatever I think is going to make me happy, and the crowd over there reacts to it very well.
That's how it should be.
So I get to be myself, and it's easy.
Yeah.
Now, comparatively over here in Duke City Championship Wrestling, which is now NWA New Mexico, it is downtown, so it's a little rowdy crowd. It's on Central, so Central is our comparable like downtown Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
It is in a old concert hall, so Al Ray Theater.
Yeah, the
so we
historic.
do our monthly TV tapings, and these are monthly shows. We do them in a venue that has a balcony and a bar, 3 bars. There's 1 bar on top, 1 bar on bottom, and then 1 bar outside. So it's very rowdy. The fans are there to party. They don't necessarily care about, I'm not even going to say like the longevity of the stories. They just want to see people get hurt and have fun, and they want to see people high fly. They want to be entertained. They're there to watch a show. They treat it as a traveling concert. So they will react to the 2 scoops is off the chains over there. the catchphrase goes off the chains. You give them an inch, they'll take you a mile over there. So the big difference is just the crowd, and every location is different. And I'll say that, like, in PCW Ultra, which is our sister company in Los Angeles, right? Long
Yeah,
Beach, Wilmington,
California.
California. So we go out there with the PCW guys, and that's a very, very trained crowd, smart crowd, right? That's like
Yeah.
a term for them. They love wrestling. They love the moves. They're very much into it. They'll
Yes.
eat you up,
They will.
but if they love you, they're going to take you to the next level.
Yeah, it was.
Now in Arizona, the PCW, we don't get that. It's more so they'll call you out if there's holes in your game.
Yeah.
But it's people having a good time. It's fun. It's the casual viewer, and I think we do a very good job of growing in new people every time and then retaining fans.
I agree here in Arizona, and it's also in the sense like I don't know if it's the same elsewhere, but you see a lot of the same faces, and that's not to say you're not seeing new people, but usually from my fan experience, I do see a lot of the same people, and it's very tight knit, and like you said,
Yes.
that locality, and also it's different from other promotions you've done in Colorado and New Mexico where it's not televised or airing on any network.
Correct. And that's organically grown.
Yeah.
And that's by design. So
it's a great
we've
model.
grown that fan base, and we've added. And I always say this: I get you in the door once, I'll hook you, and you want to come every time. You never want to miss. And that's the thing is you got to tell people like, hey, I have a show, and they don't know what it is. They've never been. I kind of like wrestling. I used to watch it as a kid. I don't know. But the thing is, once I get them in that door once, they will always come back. They're always asking, when's the next show? When's the next show? Because when you see it live in person, and PCW is the perfect example because of the quality of wrestling, the quality of characters, the quality of production, the amount of effort that's put into those shows. It's very easy to get them in the door and get them hooked because the fans can pick up on the energy. They see the amount of effort we do, and then they're hooked, and then they become that tight-knit community.
Yeah. And backtracking a bit on the NWA New Mexico, they must have a lot of faith in you everywhere you go because, we mentioned 609 days with MBW as Mega Test Tag Team Champs, but you and Turbo Tony as Turbo Test were the inaugural Duke City Tag Champs. What was your reaction to that moment?
Man, it was a dream come true in so many ways. That was me completing my four corners. So I had a championship in Arizona, Colorado, and then Utah. I had an opportunity there during December, so I had that belt, and I just needed the one in New Mexico.
And you got it.
It was I hate to say like a surreal feeling, but that's honestly the best. Looking back, the best way I could explain it, because we were surprised. We didn't even know what we were getting ourselves into. We're the main event, which anytime there's a tag team main event, right? It's a big deal. That's rare. And it was the inaugural championship. We wrestled Pretty City Express. You can't get a better tag team to compete against.
They'll work
the best
you.
tag team on this coast. And they took it to us, and we had one of the best matches I've ever been a part of that night, where my reactions were genuine and sincere because I put everything I had into that match, physically, mentally, emotionally, to be able to hold that championship belt. The end of it was a fulfilling reward,
Yeah. And Pretty City Express, I mean, I love those guys. Because they won't just bring the best out of the fans, of course, the best and the worst out of the fans, but they'll also bring the best out of their competitors, like you and MBW and Turbo Tony, for example. And I got to ask, with every state and promotion you've traveled to and have competed in, who's a face that you get to see a lot that just gives you joy when you get to see them?
I would like to say Pretty City Express because I see them all over the place. But I don't know if they give me too much joy. They probably gave them a little bit more grief.
Yeah.
One of the guys I travel with probably the most is Enrique Calderon.
Yeah.
He's like my little brother in the business. He's very coachable. He's sometimes a little. Sometimes I could shake him up a little bit, and he could be stubborn, but he's very smart, and I'm looking forward to to wrestling him for that Slam U championship soon.
I had him on the show. He exerts a lot of confidence, to say the
He,
least.
he could be overconfident, I think, in my opinion. But I think he could back it up. I say this in the best way. We travel quite a bit together. He's my travel buddy, and we've bonded in Arizona, Wyoming, Colorado. We've gone up to West Texas a couple times together. And no, he puts up whenever I take him with me. Every promoter is very, very much impressed with him.
Mm. Another notable stop for your journey so far, and I've actually been able to attend a show when I was visiting a friend, has been Rocky Mountain Pro in Colorado. And sort of in the same vein of what I asked you about New Mexico, what's the community like there in Colorado? And have they been accepting of you as much as anywhere else? And more specifically, when you reigned as that promotion's charge champion?
Yeah, so those shows are so awesome. I'm looking forward. I actually will be back coming up this weekend. I'll be there. They were beyond welcoming. You know, that's a quick drive from Albuquerque, 6 hours. I can get there really quick. It's a different level. Over there, they have high-level production.
They do.
They have a very deep locker room where their students train to be, like, very hard. But their resources, and I'll name drop, D'Lo Brown.
Yeah.
They have Marty the Moth, Sid Bodie. They have Matt Yaden, at Prince Russo. Like,
a lot of knowledge.
Guys are at the disposable, so top-level guys that have been at the highest level for a long time, and to be able to be around that, like, that is high-quality education I was receiving, and I do get. And I'm grateful enough to have their phone numbers and their emails. And I know I could, if I ever have like an actual sincere question or have a match reviewed or ask for advice, they're just a phone call away, text message away. So I am beyond grateful for everything Rocky Mountain Pro has done for me. And atmosphere-wise, they do so much. Their Bistro Lager houses downtown, if you're able to go to one of those, are hands down probably the most chaotic wrestling shows I've ever been to. 700, 800, 750 people downtown Denver on First Friday, literally just looking to have fun and party.
Sounds about right.
They don't necessarily care about wrestling at all, but what they care about is the characters. The Two Scoops, the Chop a City, the Chops.
Yeah.
That's what gets over really good with them, because that's what they remember. And I can't say enough good things about Rocky Mountain Pro.
Yeah, and that's a very good point you bring up. And we were kind of leading to this in a sense, where wrestling right now is at the point where it is a 24/7, 365 business, and you have work everywhere, in and out the ring. So there's always jobs there. And, of course, for the casual fan that might not even know much about wrestling, I like to say wrestling is probably at its peak popularity, because you have people who have never heard of a Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold for that matter, and they're able to enjoy something they see even locally or on TV, and that sticks to them. The character, the catchphrases, all that. It's a big part of the aesthetic.
Yes, and that's kind of a crazy thought I never even considered, that people didn't know of a Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold, because for me, those were household names. And to be quite honest, you could quiz my mom on this. One of my first ever words was The Rock when I was a child, when I was a baby. And it was Mom, Dad, Guy, and The Rock is what I would say, my first couple words. So
wow.
Wrestling has always been the biggest part of my life. So the fact that I am able to be someone's first impression is kind of a crazy thought I never really thought of.
I got to ask, big picture, since you mentioned it, since birth, what was your first experience and earliest memory with professional wrestling?
Oh, since birth, I mean, I'm the youngest of two older brothers, all boys. I was young enough to be watching TV, watching The Rock, Stone Cold on TV. I was born in 98. So, 2000, 2001, 2002, I could have a little bit of memories playing with the toys, young enough to be the old Jack Pacific kind of soft toys chewing on him.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. Constantly just always wrestling with my brothers, with the wrestling buddies, with the Power Ranger stuffed animals, and doing all of the moves on him, jumping off the couch, off the top rope there.
Did you have a favorite move
those
to
are probably
hit?
some of my earlier memories. Now, specifically, I remember my VHS tape, my dad getting Goldberg, Who's Next, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I remember watching that in the VCR as my comfort. That was like my, got to clean the room, that's what I'm watching. Got to go to bed, that's what I'm watching.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that I grew up on. But yeah, it was, my dad is a good wrestling fan, and it's something that we watch as a family, all of my life. So quite frankly, I grew into it more than anything else.
Yeah. I gotta ask, when you were little Tommy wrestling with your wrestling buddies, did you have a favorite move to hit that might have stuck around into your actual career?
That stuck around. I mean, probably not as crazy as I used to be. The Batista bomb, I've done a couple of those. I remember that was like a big one that I used to do quite a bit. A good old sit-out power bomb. But one that I do want to bring back is I used to do a nice 5-star frog splash.
Oh, wow.
From the top of the bed, and I haven't done one in a match yet. I might have to.
You'll have to bust one out at
a
a Phoenix Championship Wrestling show one of these days.
I just never have the opportunity. I usually knock people out before.
Yeah, you'll find it one day. Of course, for all wrestling fans here in Arizona, you can catch our guest Tommy Test in action at the next Phoenix Championship Wrestling event this upcoming Saturday, the 15th. For more general information on that, check social media. Tommy's socials are at Tommy2Scoops_ on Instagram, and you can also check out at PCWAZ as well as at Wrestlezona for more info. Of course, Tommy, with you being an active performer in the business, it comes with a lot of great craft, dedication, and as we had mentioned, especially at a time like this, brand and marketing. For you specifically, what is the most important aspect of your brand as a freelance wrestler who is also an ambassador for Bucked Up?
Yes. I mean, I live the gimmick, right? For me, it's real life. The 2 scoops is I actually 2-scoop my protein every single morning before I leave the door. When I do my supplements, it is creatine, pre-workout, 2 scoops together every day before I work out. And I'm glad you did actually mention, like, it's a 24/7 and you're marketing yourself, and that's really what it is. At this level, I don't have anyone. I don't have a social media guy. I am the social media guy,
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to sell tickets, you know what you got to do. You got to get them in hand and talk to people. I'm in a gym about close to 10 hours a day, and I see a lot of people with wrestling shirts. You know what I do?
What?
Hey, I like your shirt, man. And I talk to them about it.
Yeah.
Have you heard about NWA in Mexico? Have you heard about PCW? No, I haven't. Well, you'd be surprised, and I'm constantly giving out my Instagram, constantly giving out the PCW Instagram handle, the Duke City Championship Wrestling handle, the Phase 1 Pro Wrestling handle. And then I sell a ticket, boom, make a little bit of money, which leads to a T-shirt sale, and it's all tied in, and it's just by me talking to people. It's so untapped, and I'm a firm believer that social media is great, social media is awesome, but word of mouth is the number one way to get that real connection. And that's the number one way for advertisement. So radio hosts, word of mouth, doing stuff like this, podcasts, interviews, flyers, that is, in my opinion, and a lot of people that I have talked to, a lot more important than just Instagram posts. Because if people don't follow you, the chance of you being on their For You page, you got to feed them.
Yeah.
You lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. But if they have a ticket in their hand, a flyer in their hand, a poster in their hand, and they can ask you questions, that is, to me, is marketing in the best possible way. And then they see me, and I'm in a gym, and I'm 2-scooping pre-workout, and I'm hitting, 700-pound deadlifts, and then I'm talking to them. Oh, I could believe this guy's a wrestler, So you definitely have to have that confidence in yourself to be at that level. But I think anybody can hand a poster out, and it's an all day, everyday thing.
Yeah, and kind of to your point of what you're saying, you're almost a one man show where you're doing the wrestling, you're working your tickets, you're selling yourself where it matters. I have a funny story about that because I can apply it. I think it's really cool in any sense if you're a wrestling fan or not. If something might lead to a conversation like that, you have a guy like, I don't know, you have like John Wolfgang walk up behind you like, hey man, you want to come see our show? And it actually happened to a friend of mine who works at a UPS store. He had Money Mac come into his shop, and I'm aware that he might have been wearing a Phoenix Championship wrestling shirt, or returning something that might have been doing with wrestling. And he started talking with my friend about it. And then my friend brought up me and my show to him. And Money Mac was like, oh, I know Wrestlezona. Yeah, you want to come out to the next show? I can give you some discounted tickets. It's like just that real person-to-person, word-of-mouth interaction. It really sticks with people more than just, hey, we have a social media post. Here's our show. Come go to it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And nowadays, a lot of promoters, and I'm so glad PCW is not this company, they will just have AI, ChatGPT, make a quick little generic poster of and everything, their event poster, their graphic for their show, and it's just very low effort, and it reflects on their houses. And with PCW, we have actual poster artists.
Oh yeah,
who do a lot of effort to make grand posters, and there's a lot of detail we put into them, and it shows that's something quality we could actually love to share to our social media, love to print out. Look in my childhood bedroom, I have almost every single PCW poster framed up and hanging on my wall because I am a big fan of the work we do there, and I'm proud of our work at Phoenix Championship Wrestling.
That was one of the first things I complimented Dom on when I had him on. I was getting to know him. I said, you got to give a raise to your poster guy, because even visiting the training center across the wall, they have all the old event posters lined up in chronological order. It's awesome.
Yes, I'm a big fan of them, and I know Ryan is taking over, and he does a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff for us. But I take pride in Ryan because he's someone, our poster guy, that I actually introduced to the world of pro wrestling. I used to be his personal trainer in Mesa, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And just talking to him, he's like, yeah, I used to watch wrestling back in the 80s, blah, 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 which led into me telling about the school, which I was very much able to put my name behind. And then he gave it a shot, and he then became our guy.
That's amazing. And I'm laughing a little bit what you said about the AI. I know what you're talking about. I'm not going to call out any names, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, it's just a general thing. I see it more than ever, and not just in Arizona.
I know it's everywhere. It's the new pandemic.
Exactly.
Yeah. You mentioned that you kind of coined the moniker of two scoops through your workout routine. But more when you were incorporating it into your character, when did you first kind of unleash the two scoops, and how did people react to it at first, the audience?
Well, that's the thing, is the audience told me they liked it, so they're the people that chose it.
Oh yeah, that's how it should be. That natural, organic growth.
Yes, it was natural. So here's kind of the story, because it did actually evolve and develop in Mesa, Arizona. So basically, Tommy Test that was the name given to me by Dom Vitale. I was new to the business. I had 3-4 matches. Tommy Test was young. He was 21, 22 years old. He was a heel. He was angry. He was aggressive. He was a former football player, former college rugby player, amateur background, a little bit of a jiu-jitsu background, loved physicality, and quite frankly, lonely. He had no family in Arizona. He was just angry with life.
Yeah.
And that was who I was at that time, and I had a chip on my shoulder. So Tommy Test was someone in the ring who was a heel, who liked to inflict punishment, who had a lot to learn. And I was always the bad guy, and I got into a feud with Metanoia, who was another student at the Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a raver. So that was real life for him. That was his wrestling the people loved him. We did a show at the End Game Bar, and at this point we wrestled each other a couple times. And I cut a little promo. I just left the gym. I'm shaking up my protein shake in my brother-in-law's truck. And I told the girl I was with, I said, hey, really quick, record this 60-second. Just record me for 60 seconds. It was one take, one shot. Gave her my phone, and I'm shaking up my protein bottle, and I'm genuinely just drinking my protein after my workout. And I went on along the line saying, Benoit, you're a person of the people. You're focused on partying because after our match, you literally go to Glendale. You're at Westgate. You literally are downtown Mesa. You're at the raves with our fans. You're engaging with them. And that's what the difference is. You're too busy concerned wanting to be liked and loved. Well, I'm here drinking my 2 scoops deluxe, getting ready to kick your butt. And that was pretty much the evolution of it. And I felt like I was working really hard, genuinely, to be him. And so I get to the venue, and a lot of the guys are like, 2 scoops, I like that. 2 scoops, that was funny, that was cool, that was good. And a lot of the little buzz from everyone, even Dom and Gally even mentioned, like, oh, that was good. And I never really got, too many compliments in the promo game. And honestly, I'm still not the best at them, but they're fun. I like to try. And kind of a little buzz before. Well, we're in the middle of our match, and I do have the amateur wrestling background. I shoot a double leg takedown. I get him down, and I just go 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of didn't really put the 2 scoops together. Well, the fans in attendance that recognized the 2 from the 2 scoops when they linked them together. And the big selection repeated back to me, 2 scoops, and I had the 2 up in the air. What? And then just in that moment, I said, you want a scoop? I picked him up, and I gave him a scoop slam. And the crowd loved it. They reacted. I gave them what they wanted, but I'm a heel. So I lifted him up again. You want a second one? Too bad you don't get it.
What? So when I got to ask them, when was the first time you actually got to bust out the 2 scoops?
Yeah. So that was the night it was born, I guess.
Yeah.
And about a week or 2 later, I was in Wilmington, California, BCW Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about my 6th or 7th time going there, and I never got I would help out, set the ring up, set the trusses up, and I'd have a security job. I did outside security in the parking lot. And what actually happened was they had Dom pulled me over and said, hey, do you have your gear? It was actually my 24th birthday. I'm like, yeah, I do. Like, well, opening match, pre-show, but the other guy coming in, he's not here yet. You have 6 minutes with him. Get the crowd high. You're the opening match. Okay, awesome. So at this point, it was my first time ever being a babyface. And I was getting comfortable with being a tag team wrestler, too. So I'm doing a singles match as a good guy when I'm used to being a tag team wrestler as a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So completely different ball game. And I'm put on the spot. And the first time, we locked up. His name was Red Williams. I shoot him off. He comes to the short tackle. I don't go. I look at him, and I have, for the first time ever, I wore a singlet that day, and it just said 2 scoops. That's all it said. And I did the 2 scoops, and as I did that, 600 people echoed it right back to me for the first time. And, it cut. And I'm very proud of this moment. The main event was Jacob Bot 2 versus Psycho Clown.
Wow.
Was the main event.
Yeah.
And for every single 2 count for the remainder of the night, including that match, every time there was a 2 count, the crowd went 2 scoops rather than the 2 sweet.
Yeah.
2 scoops. And it just grew, and that was the first time. And every time I would kick out of a pin at 2, I'd say scoops. And it was just a natural feeling. And it just grew, and that was the first time I did it was on the fly, and it really blew up. The very next week I did it again, and it worked, and it worked, and it worked, and it just evolved to what it is today.
That's fantastic. I'm sure you had a lot of pride throughout the night at that PCW Ultra show.
Yes, it was definitely one of the key pivotal moments in not only my wrestling career, but my entire life.
Wow. How would you best describe your aesthetic?
I used to think it was more so. Okay, I have quite a bit. So I'm kind of a hard person to read. My aesthetic, I used to think it was more of aggressive, but now it's definitely more, I would say, like an athletic kind of aura. A little bit of chaotic, a little chaotic. I do enjoy chaotic humor.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't necessarily understand it, but that's the point.
Yeah.
I am a walking contradiction. You know, I'm a country boy who likes heavy metal and rap music, who's also was a jock but does play Pokemon, was a bit of a nerd. But, you know, I do like to go hunting. But I'm also a gym rat. So, you know, I have quite a bit of personality. And I think I have a lot to give and a lot to love. And I just pretty much do what I think I like. And so I would say my aesthetic is just literally just me. So chaotic, I guess, would be the best way to explain it, but very organic. Very organic.
And that chaos transfers over in the ring. Your conflict of interest going against other people's conflict of interest. There's a lot to develop and have in that ring with that.
Yeah, it's very unique, and I think that's what sets me apart from others is that I could just be myself. A lot of times, wrestling advice that they give to new start wrestling is your character is you turned up to 11. Well, my character is just me being me.
Yeah.
You know? Like, sometimes I have to turn it down a little bit.
Yeah. What has been the most rewarding aspect of your career in pro wrestling thus far?
Whew. So many blessings too. I think, quite honestly, I did a last October, so coming up just over a year.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to do and help produce and organize and advertise a wrestling show in my hometown of Las Vegas. So Las Vegas is about 30 minutes from Ribera, where I went to high school. Super small school town, small town.
Yeah.
And I was able to do a wrestling show there. And there hasn't been wrestling there since 2003.
Wow.
Which was a crazy show. Looking back, that show had the Road Warriors, the Bushwhackers, Virgil. It was a crazy show to be in a small town out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But everyone talked about that show my entire life. That was the mystique. That was the aura of that show. That one time that everyone always talked about.
Yeah.
And to bring it home, I can't go to Las Vegas. I was there this weekend, and everywhere I go, I'm recognized. Hey, you're that wrestler guy. Oh, hey, you're Two Scoops. When's the next one coming? To the point where the venue we ran it at, the Buffalo Hall, every single day, a year past it, they were getting phone calls. When are you bringing the wrestling back? When are you bringing the wrestling back?
That's fantastic.
But what was rewarding about it was I got a main event with Alden Pina, one of my very best friends in the world, beat the heck out of each other in front of, we sold the place out, over 500 people in my hometown in front of all my family, all my friends. You know, it was a dream come true to do that because it's something that it was a goal of mine since I was literally a kid. And I was actually able to do it and live it and not only that, but succeed at it. And I think the success was cool when I had that little bit of chunk of change in my pocket afterwards. You know, and it's rare to be ahead of the game in the independent wrestling scene, and that kind of gave me that standard of, okay, it is possible, you know?
Yeah. Do you guys ever plan on bringing wrestling back to your hometown?
That is a phenomenal question, and I get asked that question, I'm not exaggerating, probably once a week. Yeah. The answer is yes. Overall, yes. I've been come up to me about 3 times with serious offers. I'm just waiting for the right time and place because it's a small town.
Yeah.
And, like, football season is a big deal. There's 2 high schools in a small town. So I don't want to run on any time where there's going to be a conflict with the football schedules. And in the winter, we have holidays, we have big basketball tournaments. I think that a good spot is probably like early spring, early fall. So not anytime soon. But NWA New Mexico actually contacted me that they want to do a show out there, and I think we might do a TV tapings out there.
Wow.
That might be our next move, probably in the early spring.
That's something to be excited for.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of production for that, so it's going to be a little bit different, but I think I'll keep you updated on it.
I'd love to hear all about it. So we mentioned your aesthetic, and you mentioned you're a country boy that still likes to listen to metal and rap. Is there a playlist of songs you listen to while prepping for your matches? And if so, how does that compare to the overall gym playlist?
Yeah, so I actually do have 3 playlists that I alternate from. One of them is just my songs.
Mm-hmm.
So
overall,
that one is like my driving anywhere I'm going, and it's pretty much a variety of my gym music. And then I have my gym playlist, which is pretty, I would say, aggressive.
yeah.
And then I have a playlist titled Happy Feel Good Songs. That's my show day. That's my game day. That's my get up and have a good day playlist. That's typically my show day song. It's My Own Worst Enemy by Lit. That's song number 1. It's the Sami Zayn theme song.
It's a good one.
Yeah. A couple
yeah.
All Star by Smash Mouth.
Classic.
That's my game day theme soundtrack right there.
So that's for the happy feel good. What kind of artists would people expect to see in the gym playlist? More aggressive.
A lot of Megadeth.
Oh yeah.
A lot of Creator.
Mm-hmm.
And I like different kinds. So I have a little bit of Russ in there.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me happy when I could go, from a heavy bench press, listening to Megadeth, Slayer, and then I could just bust some curls out to some, Russ, some other newer rap and stuff, and it gives me a little bit of confidence. There is quite a bit of stuff in there, but I would say the majority is like thrash metal.
Yeah. You genuinely just piqued my interest when you said new rap, because I am very much a hip hop aficionado of every sound. So I gotta know what rappers are you listening to in the gym?
Yeah, so I have quite a bit. It's not like a specific artist that I'm really into. It's whatever sounds good, pleasing to me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say new, it goes anywhere from speaker knockers from when I was in high school, 2016.
Yes, yeah.
No one listens to that,
Dap you up.
Juice, a little bit of Juice WRLD.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the newer ones that I have there. Lil Tecca.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, lots of Lil Jon, Lil Wayne, which that's a
classic crunk. Yeah,
that's classic. Yeah, I have a little bit of that in that gym playlist.
Yeah,
I was actually able to do a little tour with Tacos of Tequila on my birthday. I wrestled in Albuquerque. I did NWA New Mexico TV taping directly into Tacos of Tequila, where it was T.I., Lil Jon, Fat Joe, and I actually got to hang with those guys and wrestle for them.
Wow.
On my birthday in my hometown. Yeah.
That's insane. I've actually been listening to the song Twins by Big Pun and Fat Joe a lot recently, so that's very interesting.
Man, that's good music.
It is.
They don't make it like that anymore.
Yeah, we'll have to talk more personally about that. But
Absolutely.
As we wrap up episode 26 of Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse, I'm Lance Reese, and I've been joined over the line with 2 scoops, Tommy Test. And Tommy, I have one last question for you that requires 2 answers. What is a Tommy Test solo match everyone needs to watch at least once to understand your style, as well as a tag match that best highlights your in-ring teamwork?
That's a great question. I want to say the solo match is going to be the match in Las Vegas, New Mexico, Buffalo Hall against Alden Final, because that is a match where we were able to get a little extreme, tables, chairs, chains, brawling, up in the crowd, everywhere. I'm a big brawler. I guess that could even be the best way to describe my wrestling archetype is powerhouse meets brawler. So, I'll do big slams, and I'll do the running splashes, and I'll do the set-out power bombs and the dangerous clotheslines. But I love to fight. I love to punch. I love to kick. So that's one where I get to genuinely be myself. That being said, let me throw two per.
right.
I do have one on my YouTube against Cosmo Orion that I'm very proud of because he was so athletic, and I got to show my athletic side. And I did a lot of flips and jumps, and I got to do my style. We went and brawled in the crowd as well. On top of that, we told a really good story where I got to be myself.
Wow.
So I would say singles match against Alden Pinal and then against Cosmo Orion. And then tag matches when I have too many to pick from. Definitely the when we won the inaugural tag team match, Turbo Test versus Pretty City Express.
Yeah.
Every single match against Pretty City Express could be on that list because every single time they took us to our limit. Every match was not the same. Every match we had to work harder than we ever did. So I guess I'll just say any match against Pretty City Express for my tag team match.
And where can people access those videos other than at Tommy Two Scoops on YouTube?
Yes, so that's a lot of places. So Rocky Mountain Pro, their YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Duke City Championship Wrestling, their YouTube channel. Phoenix Championship Wrestling, their YouTube channel, which I believe these are all their names. Yeah. Phoenix Championship Wrestling. Rocky Mountain Pro, so it's Rocky Mountain Pro YouTube channel. And then it's Tommy Test Wrestling for myself on YouTube, where I do upload about monthly. I have a lot of stuff I just have storage on my phone. I got to clear so I can do some uploading. But now that I'm home, I might do that today.
That sounds great. Well, Tommy Test, it was great to have you on our program. Again, for anyone who is interested to learn more about Tommy, you can follow him on his Instagram at Tommy2Scoops_. Check out that YouTube channel, Tommy2Scoops. And any parting words for the listeners?
Yeah, we will see you coming up 2 weeks to Phoenix Championship Wrestling, where I'll actually be wrestling Young Money. That's going to be a fun match. I know they are the future of Arizona Pro Wrestling. They are the future of tag team wrestling, and I can't wait to wrestle with them again. I know they are beyond capable, very athletic, and I can't wait to scoop them both.
We'll see those two scoops in action. Well, Tommy Test, thank you for being on our program. Thank you for allowing your time on Wrestlezona, and we'll hope to speak to you again soon.
Thank you.
Well, that wraps up episode 26 of Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse. I hope everyone had a fun time listening in on me and Tommy Test conversations. He has a very compelling story, and there was a lot to learn from that conversation alone. But there will always be more to learn because you can tune back into Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse on Sundays at 8 to 9 a.m. We will be back next week for episode 27 on Sunday, November 16th. I'm Lance Reitz with Wrestlezona on 88.7 The Pulse, and until next time... Support for Wrestlezona comes from the Wrestling Guy Store Phoenix, offering wrestling-themed merchandise and collectibles. More information at WGSPHX.com. That is WGSPHX.com.